Hi there, Tom Augustine for View magazine. How's it going?
How's it
Hey,
going,
good. How
Tommy?
are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you so much for chatting with me, guys.
No
No,
problem.
thank you
We're
for having
excited.
us.
He's lost his
Listen,
voice, by the way. So
I sound a bit
actually,
more.
no, it sounds better.
Is
But you
it?
shouldn't say anything anyway.
Tom, over to you.
no, you sound great. Thank you. I really enjoyed the film. Thank you for making this really incredible, really powerful film, as well as a very scary film. Um, One of the things that I find really rewarding about your work, this and Talk to Me, is this kind of authenticity that you've managed to achieve with the depiction of teenage characters in your films. They feel very accurate. They feel very kind of accurate to the way that modern teens talk and interact. Does that just come naturally to you guys, or do you have a method for achieving the way that you depict kind of teenage characters in your films?
It's about allowing the kids to change the dialogue, and like they can really embody it, and whatever feels natural and real to them, they're not stuck with what we've written on the page. So
Mm.
that's where I think a lot of that realism and genuine realistic stuff comes from, is that they're able to perform and put themselves into these characters. I would say that that's a part of it.
Yeah, it's going through line by line with them. It's like, does this make sense? Does this feel right to say, or how else would you say it? What's something that you would say in that? That's this, and that's yeah, and that brings an authenticity to it.
Yeah, because if they're just reading the lines off the page, it's like, this sounds like a 32-year-old man wrote it. So like, yeah, allowing them to do it is so much better.
It's kind of like a collaboration, I guess. Once you've chosen your cast, do you build the character with them? Is that part of your process?
Yeah, I
100.
think in the writing process as well, the film is based, a lot of it is based on a friend and his little sister who's
Mm.
non-sighted, and even speaking with her and seeing how she views the world and how she navigates it and how she speaks and how she articulates things, and so it's all those things that you borrow from and chat to people with those characters are kind of based on that same world and just chat to them. That's the best, the realest you get.
So the nature of the horror in this film feels quite different to that of Talk to Me in a sense. I mean, that one had this kind of electric jump scare kind of thing going on, whereas this it kind of the scares feel like they linger inside you for a long time. What was your intention going into the making of the film? How the horror would be delivered?
Yeah, we wanted to commit to a different kind of energy than Talk to Me. So we wanted to. It's still a horror movie, but a different style of horror movie, and it was kind of committing to that because it goes against our instincts. Our instincts is that electric. Hey, look over here! Whoop, 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 whoop," like every 2 seconds, keep you engaged. It's trusting the characters and trusting the moments and trusting the unsettling nature to kind of seep in without punctuating it.
Yeah, and it's like the body horror, like really tying it like to themes, and like all that body horror stuff, it represents something, and it's not just there for their sake. And like it can be misinterpreted, or people can't put their finger on it. But I know there's audience members reading the reviews that have gotten it, and I think that's always like viscerally representing like these tragic things on screen. I think it is sometimes more powerful than dialogue. Sometimes blood is more powerful than dialogue.
Definitely, and it gives way to something that feels, it's very scary, but it felt very sad, very tender in places, and I found myself feeling scared, but I also almost felt myself kind of moved to tears in different parts of the film because of its depiction of grief. So, what kinds of things were you guys working through? What kind of emotions, thoughts, feelings were you hoping to channel with this film?
Well, like even when we were developing uh, the project, that we had a loss in the family,
Mm.
and that was very tragic, and it was so heartbreaking. So that made its way into the script pages, and then when we entered pre-production, we lost a really close family friend, and then that became something that changed the film as well. So it's about just allowing these experiences to like control the film in a way, and the film became a way of dealing with it and figuring it out, and there was nowhere to put those emotions but on the screen, because we were on set. There was nowhere else to process it.
And I think it's something that there's people that have watched the movie that have experienced loss recently who found it therapeutic in a
Mm.
way. It's facing it in a way that's in a cathartic way through the visual medium. It's yeah,
I
it's
mean, it
interesting.
even goes back to music. Like when you feel sad, you want to listen to sad songs. It is
Mm.
a weird thing like that. It's just a way to feel those emotions and like embrace those emotions.
Yeah, no, I mean, as someone, I also lost someone recently, and I found that it hit that kind of messiness of grief that was really, really, really powerful in amongst all the scariness and the body horror and that kind of thing. It's really, really interesting in that way. And also, it connects to Talk to Me as well because both seem to have this very interesting conception of the afterlife. Is that something that's been a long-term fascination for you guys in terms of the things that you feel you want to respond to in your films?
Yeah, and like the supernatural and some of that stuff feels, what's scary about it is that it feels like it could happen. It feels
Mhm.
real. It's not outwardly this giant monster or like some mythological being. Like I like that there's like you can sometimes like ground your feet in a sort of reality, even with the supernatural, and like there's kinesiologists that claim they can talk to spirits and stuff, and exorcists that say they can like purge these demons. And even though if these things aren't real, if the person that they're doing this stuff on believes it, it actually helps them getting rid of it. So even that mentality is so fascinating, and there's like all of that sort of stuff in the film.
You need a lemon honey tea, mate.
I know my voice
This
was just
guy's
shut.
It adds something to this whole experience, so it's um, how do you guys land on a scary image? I mean, like in this film, there is a great use of kind of digital, like photography, like almost like found footage in the kinds of guide videos that they are looking at in the film. So, where do you find these images? Is it a process of discussion, or is it something deeper and darker?
It's like we wanted an inversion of the home videos that Laura was watching, which
Mm,
is sort of a healthy way of grieving, and this is the ugly side of it. And
mm,
the VHS aesthetic and those camcorders, there's something about them that feels like it's tying back to those lost media or those weird clips that you would come across on the internet that are horrifying and they're violent and there's no context for them. It makes them even more horrifying. And I'm so obsessed with that aesthetic that our VFX guy, Jack James Troisi, not in a VFX sense, but just on a practical sense, gave me 17 versions of each of those shots that are in the VHS film, but with him actually like grabbing the VHS tape and like giving us different static, but actually like giving me like putting it out there, not doing it with VFX, like doing it for real and controlling the static and using that to like transition from one shot to the next through actual snow. It's just like I hate the digital version of it. I hate like you can always tell when it's been faked. So
mm.
I like executing that stuff practically. I love the aesthetic.
And you've also managed to get some incredible performances in this film. I mean, I wanted to start talking about Sally Hawkins' performance because it feels very authentic and specific and not quite like a character that we've seen in a film like this before. What was your process bringing her on board and building that character with her?
It was the most rewarding experience ever. She was the first person on, we had a list of about 10 people. She was the first one that we reached out to
Mm,
and the only one that we spoke to. You know, she read the script and she loved it. And then we had a phone call with her. She was so down to earth and down to collaborate. And we didn't feel there was any, I don't know, like Hollywood ego or something like that. She was just so genuinely committed to trying to make the best thing possible. And that's what we loved, going down the rabbit hole with her, like this character. She would do everything in character. She'd buy things from the shops and dress the set as the character. And we play through like so many scenes of the character's life with her. And it's like finding it with her was the most amazing thing ever. And then because we did it in like chronological order almost as much as possible, it's a spiral, and there's big scenes are coming, and you can't wait to watch Sally deliver because she will.
100%. And she's matched by these performances by your young actors. What was your process of finding these incredible performances, and how do you prepare them for the places that they have to go? I'm thinking particularly of Jonah Wren Phillips in this film, who has to go to some pretty gnarly places. How do you prepare them for that?
You always find them or they like in the audition tapes and they've got it or they don't. And like Jonah's audition tape, there was no dialogue in it. It was a purely physical performance and it blew us away. And we knew straight away that he was going to be Oliver. And in real life, he's like a Muay Thai fighter. He's had 3 fights already. So he's a really physical kid. Both of his parents are actors. So they were on set helping find it. And it's about like creating a set and an environment that's fun to come to. And all those scenes that are super horrifying to watch were actually a lot of fun to shoot. And that's like a part of that process where it's like, make sure it's a fun place to be. And yeah, even so,
like anyone at home trying to film a gore scene, no matter who you are, if you're okay, I want to try and pull off this gore effect, you have fun. It's the most fun ever.
Yeah, and it's like having joke takes at the end of like really like emotional scenes that helps pull the kids out of it as well. Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's keeping the set fun, vibrant, and then you go into a headspace for a certain amount of time to get a certain scene or a few shots, and then it's pulling them back out of it, and then it's back to fun and foosball, which we made people bring to set, which everyone hated, but that's a good foosball. That was a good foosball game.
Well, we certainly didn't hate the foosball.
That could be the sequel. More foosball added into
more foosball the movie.
Yeah, fantastic. You guys have quickly become these quite important filmmakers in the kind of Australian horror scene, and you probably could have done a lot of different things after Talk to Me. What made you decide to keep your filmmaking in Australia and stick to the Australian landscape, the Australian kind of world in terms of the story that you were telling?
Well, because it's authentic to us. It's how we grew up. It's where we grew up. We know these characters, these people. It's lived experience. So it doesn't really make sense to us to do stuff somewhere else. We were blessed with, there was so many different opportunities after Talk to Me, so many different paths you could go down, but it's what feels right in your heart and what can you truly know you're going to put 100% effort into. Not a money grab, but something that you're going to make and be proud of, and a story that you want to tell. It's like finding what that is and then bringing it back.
And do you feel inspired by the long history of Australian horror? Do you feel like you want to be a part of that kind of storybook, I guess?
I never look at ourselves like that. We're just sort of doing our thing. But I'm so proud that like Australian cinema seems to be having like a cool boom, and the horror genre in total seems to be having a really cool boom, and really unique, exciting voices are beginning to get heard.
Together.
Yeah, it feels like Together is an example. Like that's so exciting. It's like, I don't know, it feels like a really, really magical time in Australian cinema.
Absolutely. You guys obviously come from a different kind of background to some filmmakers. You started with as RackaRacka doing YouTube videos and that kind of thing. Do you feel like that has shaped your filmmaking abilities in a different way to perhaps some other filmmakers might be?
Yeah, I 100%, because we made so much stuff and the YouTube stuff was so outrageous. We were able to do some like really, really crazy stuff, really, really out there stuff, but you're tackling complicated things in a fun way, and it's everything that you make, you learn something from it and you take that with you. It's like, yeah, it's like sharpening the tools in a way. So then when you're doing something similar in a film, it's like that's the easy stuff, the kind of stylish stuff, or the stuff that's fast and vibrant. Like we can do that stuff. It's the longer form of storytelling that's the trickier, I think, for us, that we're trying to get a grapple with, I think.
Well,
sorry, I don't know what that was.
You've done exceptionally well. This is a really, really great film. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me today. And best of luck with the rest of the junket and all of that as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Thanks, Mom.